Welcome back, folks.
I'd like to show you something.
I love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no, I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me. Better believe in your mind, 'cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost anything. All it takes is some time and some clarity to find your identity. It's mind over everything. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm
You have to ask yourself one question. Do I feel lucky?
Well, hello. How are you all doing tonight? And welcome to the 108th episode of Toxic Tuesday. And it's also the first of several episodes to follow because for some of you who are very familiar, and I see a few familiar faces even from last year, we did the Sean Connery run of James Bond 007 for all November long of Toxic Tuesday. Now, this time around, this is the Roger Moore edition. Now, he does have a lengthy amount of movies, more than any other James Bond that's come before or after him. But we're definitely going to cover a good amount of ground within the next 4, maybe 5 weeks at most. And maybe next November, we'll pair his up with maybe the two Daltons and the Lazenby for a 5-week edition. So, yes. Anyways, it feels awesome to be back on Toxic Tuesday, but also we talk about the most toxic man ever put into fiction, James Bond 007. And people are probably wondering, I know there's some people who are on Midnight's Edge After Dark asking the chat, hey, what's going on with the man with the golden gun? Because isn't that the second movie of the Roger Moore? And yes, obviously that's true. Now, the reason why, for context, is because our buddy Mark Duvacy, the man who makes the show as visually stunning and pleasing as our eyes can see, he is out today because he is handling some civil local duties on the political side of things in terms of voting. So he's out there doing all that local voting service stuff. And we feel like, he's a hard worker. He gives a lot of his time, his energies, his crafts and services to this show, that the least we could do is accommodate to him. Say, you know what? We'll do this movie tonight and we'll do Live and Let Die next week. So the second one goes first and the first one goes second. All right. I felt like that made sense. I felt like that was kind of common sense. But we got our buddy, that 70s rock fan, who will be our MVP tonight, taking care of the visuals. It's gonna be great. All right. And let's acknowledge some faces in the chat. All right, man. You guys are commenting like there's 100 people, even though there's only like 25 of you so far. You're commenting like you're an army. I love it. What's up, FKHG 2005, Emperors and Pinochet's Helicopter Tours, the mighty Vulcan lives. How are you, sir? Nice to see you. Wonky Man, Davina Duckworth, how are you? Well, hello, Southern Viking. It's nice to see you. Darth Viewer, Keely Chow, hello. Mr. Zenon 1993, how are you? Long time no see. Putin's cat, the Gilded King, Vince Womack, hello. Yeknomino, how are you? Nice to see you here. Josh Post, what's up? Po Baby 74, Pete O'Shea's Helicopter Tours, how you doing, man? Nice to see you as well. Anima Confusa, hello, D-Bud Martin. Well, man, see, this is what I mean. You guys are commenting like you're an army. I love that. I love it so much. And Mr. Zenny has a great comment. This is the podcast that made me a Bond fan in the first place last year. So excited for this. That's what I love to see. When someone's just like, you know what? I gotta watch some damn Bond. And this guy right over here, Mr. Zenon, just does it. And now the rest is history. Thank you for coming back, sir. You have been missed around these parts, and that is an honor and a privilege. Thank you. Hail to all of you. Thank you for being here. Let's bring in some of our dudes. We'll start off with Mr. Justin of the Red Shirt. How are you, Justin of the Red Shirt?
Doing really well. Glad to be back. And looking forward to talking about a movie that has one of my favorite Bond villains of all time, the great Christopher Lee, who's the only man who could out-Bond James Bond.
Francisco Scaramanga.
Manga.
What
Yes.
a character. I know this movie seems to be a little bit divisive on the Bond side and the Roger Moore side, but I feel like there's a lot of highlights of this movie that I feel like kind of get overlooked, and it seems like we're going to be on a little bit of, at the very minimum, a little bit of a similar siding on this one. I know we've had our oppositions in ways, but it seems like we have some enthusiasm with this one. So I look forward to talking about it, especially about one Christopher Lee, because dude, yeah. But hey, man, glad you're here. Glad you're back here. Let's have some fun tonight. Let's have some fun talking 007 for the next month.
Yes.
All right. How you doing, Bruce Lombardo, with his Only Hands account?
My sanctioned Only Hands account. Just kidding. My sanctioned Only Hands account. No, I'm just in chat was talking about how much I do like some of these older films, even though modern times have polluted the minds of the young. I think in time things will change quite a bit. I think the blaxploitation phase that was so prevalent in Live and Let Die was faded or kind of moved aside so they could capitalize on the kung fu craze at the time. And that's why we have the wonderful Bangkok scene in this movie. And it's just great fun. I mean, I know that sounds kind of lame for some people, but no, these movies were made to make money, and for their purpose, they did that. And they actually did tell a fun story that might be only relevant for maybe the 30 years before or after that time when it was made. But if you are a person who appreciates good history, check out the media surrounding everything before you make a judgment call based in 2023.
I hear you. Yeah, and I agree. And you know what? I'm glad we'll be able to fill in those little tidbits. Hey, tidbits. And for tonight's show, because I think that'll be very relevant for tonight's episode. But glad you could be here, Bruce. Let's have some fun. All right, let's be dudes. And the man who's got the hands, well, the other set of hands, and, well, he's doing the visuals tonight.
Not now, Nick. I'm with a woman.
Oh!
Not now. With a lady. Yeah.
Hey, put that magazine down.
No, I'm just looking at the posters. Well, it's great to be here. God, I missed you all so much. A week, one night in Bangkok is like a week in any other place or something. A week in Bangkok is like a month.
Last week for Halloween.
It was weird.
I know Halloween was great for us on our side of the pond.
Yeah.
But dude, it was like, man, I need Toxic Tuesday back in my life.
Well, we're back. Yes, it's a pleasure to be here. And my friend Sean Connery would agree. Because even though it's Roger, we're still going to talk like this.
We're still going to talk like
we can't not
Roger
speak
Moore.
like this.
We're still going to do it.
Roger Moore. I can't do as good as Roger Moore. If you ever watch the Trip, Red Shirt might know the show I'm talking about, The Trip, with Alan Partridge in it.
No, actually, I don't.
All right, it's a series of shows. I think they're on Amazon or Netflix. British shows with Rob Brydon and the guy that plays Alan Partridge guy. I can't remember his name. But anyway, they spend the majority of the show. It's a fake travel thing where they're traveling around Europe doing a TV show, and they basically spend the whole time doing impressions of Sean Connery, Roger Moore, Michael Caine, and that's basically the show. That's it. And they're trying to outdo each other. Yes, well, Roger would do it like this, you know. Anyway,
are you ready to be the Bangkok tonight?
yes, we're going to Bangkok.
Bangkok.
This is like Christopher Lee stars in A Fistful of Yen.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well timed 70s as always. And the Keto Simple One himself. How are you?
I'm
Roommates
doing
and
wonderful, gentlemen. Oh. So, like, to be a villain, you need a third nipple, is what I understand, right? And lots of money.
That's a very Mad Mardigan way of living, if you think about it.
I know, like, all that money, third nipple, you'd think you'd have that removed.
You would think, but you're also.
I mean, that's
trying
like
to
the
make
only
sense.
identifying factor, and you're like,
But
nope,
it's
I'll keep it.
Yeah, but that's his calling card. How else does anyone identify him? He doesn't hand out business cards.
Yeah, but you don't want to be known if nobody knows who you are.
But he still has to be identified at some point, hence the Roger Moore's piece in the movie where he impersonates him.
I guess.
I mean,
I'll let it slide.
Nipples on a man are irrelevant anyway. Why have three? I mean, two's
Nipples and the
superfluous.
seam.
So anyway, we've done the stills for tonight. I hope everyone's going to enjoy them.
Oh
we
yeah,
might as well-
no,
we
hey,
might-
dude,
we might as
Sevy,
well-
thank you
I did
for
the- I-
doing this.
I
By
did
the
this.
way,
Yeah, I did the stills for you for tonight. So we'll
dude,
we'll just
no,
get on with
I'm
those.
so glad. You
So
took
here
the
we are,
time
the beginning
to
of the
give us
movie.
this. Yeah.
It's you did wait a minute. You did say we were doing Goldfinger, didn't you?
No, dude, this is the man with the golden gun. That's Roger Moore right there.
That's right. Oh, right. Oh, okay. Oh
Yeah,
shit.
so
it's
fine.
Oh shit. Well, where's Mark? Where you said Goldfinger. Oh god, well we got to start again then, don't we? Oh shit.
Oh no, how's the show gonna
jeez.
start?
Oh god. Well, let's just go with it.
We're gonna
Well, give me 30 seconds. I'm sure I can do the real one.
Okay. Just so you know, what's up, Billy Go Bum? I see you in the chat. That is a nod to last year's episode. When last year we were supposed to do Goldfinger, and Mark gave us the wrong slideshow to Goldfinger, and he gave us the slideshow for tonight's feature, The Man with the Golden Gun. And I remember viewing it before the show started. I'm like, Mark, I think you sent me the wrong movie. I said, "Oh crud, what?" I'm like, "Yeah, what's with the man with the golden gun?" So I figured we should definitely put a reverse on all the chat just to make a fake.
Oh no, no, I'm not kidding. I thought we were doing Goldfinger. There is no other slide set. That's it. Just vamp for 2 hours. Okay. No, it's if. All right, we're ready to get where we're ready to go. Obviously, so
now we're ready to start our show proper, and we get the midget knick-knack.
We see our first appearance of Comics Division for tonight.
Dude,
or is it Culture?
And Casino and Comics Division are not only the same height, but it's Culture's 90th birthday today.
This island is now a tourist attraction because of that. They renamed it Bond Island.
If Comics and Culture, when I met them in Dallas, if Comics and Culture were the same height, Comics was standing on a box.
Yeah, and I think Hervey would have been upset to be compared in height to those two guys. He's much taller. Mad's making an appearance. He doesn't make many appearances tonight, but
this is a very it looks like he's got he's like on a body of pubes too.
Yeah. So apparently, I think it's in the trivia on IMDb or one of that Hervey there, the little guy, was a sex fiend according to Roger Moore.
Yes.
And he looks like he could just be punted for a field goal, and he would just go the other side of the planet. That is Vern Troyer before Vern Troyer.
I mean, this movie then it's got dwarf tossing, and it should have had nunchucks as well.
Yeah, I missed out. The nunchucks. The nunchucks would have made it completely.
It would have made it complete.
The nunchucks. You lose the nunchucks.
had,
Everybody likes the nunchucks.
You had a dude with a third nipple. You had a midget. You had a lady named Goodnight.
Right.
So
this
you had
guy,
these really interesting things going on, but there are some great, awesomely, exotic locations right off the bat. Because obviously, Francisco Scaramagna's his lair, his villain lair is pretty cool, man. I gotta say, because you see what he's about to do here with the warm up. He's got a cool lair. I gotta give it to him, man.
Well, I just wanted to mention this guy, Mark Lawrence, who was also in Diamonds Are Forever in almost exactly the same outfit. So there is speculation he was playing the same guy, although he was unnamed in Diamonds Are Forever.
Oh, let the speculation.
And, like, he's on a tropical island, but he ain't going to let go of that hat, is he?
That hat gets him laid.
That's true. Laid to rest.
Oh,
perhaps.
hello. I got a Amelia Clark scroll arm.
She's going to give a handy.
Says, I'm up way too late, but I can't resist this with a super chat. What is this currency? Two what?
It's British pounds.
2 British pounds. Thank you, Amelia Clark. I gotta learn my currency, but thank you very much. And also, I got a direct dono from Emperor's NM before the show for $15, and he left no message. But even though he didn't leave a message, we're gonna send a message out because this video is perfectly timed out for a certain movie that hits theaters this week. Oh,
please,
thank you very much, Emperor's NM. I appreciate it, sir. Means a lot coming from you. Appreciate that. All right.
Yeah. So I do like this layer. I mean, it's nowhere near as elaborate as the huge sets on some of the other movies, but it's quite good. But the whole plot it's basically about the MacGuffin, the solar plexus or whatever it's called. Solar agitator. It's just a MacGuffin to get Christopher Lee and Roger Moore up against each other. That's all.
Of course. But I think that it works and it's fine within the context of what's going on here. It's not supposed to make a fancy lair, but the fact that it's out stranded in this random island and it's really cool area because he could go swimming, have fancy drinks. I don't know where he gets the refills, but hey, he'll figure it out. It'll be fine. The midget's got it covered.
Nobody rocks a tracksuit like Christopher Lee.
Dude, you just look at him. He just oozes. I can feel the ooze off him of class. As you see, he's about to do his training route to practice his shot against James Bond because he's all about, I got to have the one shot to take him on, to take him out. And I like it because, when you see, especially that doorway, you're like, oh, you didn't expect him to have like a trip down the way. Yeah. So it kind of throws you off. I'm like, oh, I actually like that.
Nick Nack doesn't necessarily go out of his way to help his boss. He actually tries to fuck him up. He has
his own vendetta against his own boss, which is funny to see. And man, Nick Nack, he's kind of a little shit. Literally a figurative.
A little shit. Yeah. Am I right in saying that this really was Roger Moore because they were too cheap to spring for a dummy, so they actually got him to stand still for a while with it? It just kind of looks like him when they close in on it later, like he's moving slightly.
No, I like it a lot.
This reminds me of the Waxworks movie.
So, as we said, this is the second Moore, but I believe it was meant to be the movie they were going to make after The Spy Who Loved Me, but for whatever reason they didn't. And then they moved through, the Lazenby or Her Majesty's Secret Service, then Diamonds Are Forever. I guess they wanted to do that, get that stuff out of the way before they returned to the kind of the original chronology.
Is also this was the final one that was directed by Mr. Hamilton.
Yeah,
by Guy Hamilton.
And it saw these guys breaking up. Saltzman and Broccoli
Yeah.
broke up.
A
The
little bit of a
relationship.
divorce was
Yeah.
a little bit of a divorce was starting to pour in.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing that seems too bitter, but it was a breakup pouring in 70s. I'm just saying.
They did make a big change. We should actually mention the music, which obviously we can't play. Diminutive Scots Lass Lulu did the theme song, which nobody.
I like this song. I
not
actually like
bad.
this one. I thought this is a good, catchy song. It feels like a nice, moody, smooth type of song, and I like it. I really think it's a good jammer. It's very memorable, very catchy too.
Well, if you see
I definitely
clips-
think it's definitely one of the better songs.
If you
from
see
the
clips
I
of
would
her
say it's my
performing-
favorite one.
Yeah, if you see clips of her performing it live, she does she puts her back into it. Let's put it that way. She's pretty ballsy with it. But of course, we would all have loved to get the Alice Cooper Man with the Golden Gun.
Oh yeah,
Which ended up Muscle of Love, of course. But that would have been a great one.
Yeah. See,
But it's
right?
a good song.
That's what's up, Mr. Zen. And yeah, this song, this is a killer song. I love it. Like, I know there's definitely a lot of complaints about this movie over the years, even from Bond fans, even from Moore fans, even. But the bullet with his name on it.
Yeah,
And
we have the clip of that bit. Maybe we should.
you got a clip of the bit?
I have
Show
some
me the bit.
clips.
Let's see what we
Yeah,
got.
some clips. Let's try
I
that.
want
This is this clip right there.
Oh, show me the
If you
bit.
could bring that up.
who would
I'm
pay $1 million
getting it
to
up.
have me killed?
Jealous husbands, outraged chefs, humiliated tailors. The list is endless.
Sure.
Delicious English.
Endless.
Oh, while this is going on, I just want to show off the art because obviously, if you take out the thumbnails, dude, this was obviously part of the promo back in the day. This is just look at this art for this is really killer. It was hard for me to get the tone of the Toxic Tuesday name that matched the color scheme of this, but I think I did a pretty good job for someone who's trying to work with a separate color. But yeah, I love
good,
this would be a poster worth owning. Like
It's a
if
good
I was
poster.
like
I think this one's
room-
slightly better.
from yesterday,
Oh my.
0069.
From the Dix division.
The man with the golden buds. So you see, Culture is obviously
He's obviously the man with-
Scaramagno.
He's got an extra breast, and
Is that
obviously
comics is knick-knack?
comics is knick-knack. The others, it's very
Yeah.
difficult to see because the poster is small. But Brahma's got Britt Eklund, I think, is wrong.
Hold on, is Tox Goodnight?
I think he is.
Tox is
There's
Goodnight.
nothing wrong with doing a Connery accent, Mr. Xenon, 1993.
Wow, he would be Goodnight.
Yeah.
All right.
I can't get away from the Connery accent. I'll never be able to stop.
See, the Connery
can't
just lives
stop.
on through us all.
Yeah. So I mean, it's the story is. I mean, I remember at the time when I went to the cinema to see it. I think it was about 11 or something. I thought it was the best thing ever. Loved it.
Did you really?
Well, I was only 11. I mean, what do you
Okay,
expect?
no. I do know people who a few people who this was their first Bond movie
Yeah.
ever. And obviously, when it's a first love, you're gonna see it a little bit differently because especially if it's something that started you down the James Bond path, you're gonna have that, that.
Well, it was
that heart
I did
for it.
see Live and Let Die before it, and then I saw this, and I thought at the time because I was 11, it was great. Looking back at it now, the plot is pretty thin.
Well, yeah, the plot is pretty
Yeah.
thin, and there are some slow moments. I mean, you can
Yeah.
probably trim out about 15 minutes of this movie.
It's got the
You
big set
could,
piece.
I'll admit it.
Pieces
But
yeah.
there's some really great this scene here with Saida. A lot of the banter between these two is freaking excellent. It's got definitely. I feel like Rogers definitely has one of his
I like the
shining
bit when he
moments
goes down
here.
here. This is
Yeah,
quite a
he
neat
goes
bit.
down because he's trying to go for
Yep.
the jewelry on the belly, and the lines he delivers to Saida are really perfectly timed. I was like, oh, dude, that is hilarious.
And then he gets attacked by Bruce Lombardo for some reason.
No.
The fight scene.
I like this.
I've lost my charm. Not from where I'm standing.
Well, We may have a
I
clip
thought
for
it
that
was a
too.
great line.
We may have a clip for that too.
Oh, dude. Oh, yes, you do. Yes.
I've lost my charm.
Not from where I'm standing.
Oh, oh, dude. Oh,
Yeah.
thank you, 70s, for
It,
getting that. Yeah.
there were a few good zingers in it, not as many as some of the movies, but there's a few. But you know what? There is.
The ones
There's
that are
also.
there are really good though. The ones
Oh,
that
yeah.
are there are really good. There's where it's like, do you see who shot him? No, I was in his eyes. My eyes were closed. Well, at least he died happy. I was like,
That's right. Yeah. You know, there's also, I'll tell you what, there's few of. There's very few deaths in this movie. I believe the kill count is the lowest of any Bond
I
film.
never made
6.
you know what?
And
It
Bond
did- it
only
really
kills
did
one
that.
person. Bond only kills one person, and you don't need to guess who it is.
Yeah, we do. What a tough one, man. I can't even imagine who. I mean, on a movie called The Man with the Golden Gun. I mean,
But
how-
Bond kills one person, well, that we know of. And I mean, there may be some inadvertent deaths in the river. I don't know.
I see. Yeah, I see. Yeah, people. There are definitely some mixed comments about Roger. Like I see, like Rob Alta saying he loves Roger Moore. Then Angry Gamer is not so fond of it. I think that's very interesting because Roger Moore did bring a little bit of a more comedic edge, and there are parts where his I guess you could say his age shows a bit more in some
Yep.
scenes. Not particularly in this movie, but especially later on in his time as Bond, his age definitely shows like in the way he moves. So you do have those elements for his Bond, but I still take him any day over, well, Daniel Craig.
So here's a fun fact for you. Just Another Red Shirt actually wears that jacket.
And does his rifle cock?
I have owned that jacket.
Tell me about your cocking rifle there, 70s.
Oh yeah. No, I said to your previous point, Nick. You know, the first two movies, Roger Moore was given comedic lines, delivered them very well, very, very sardonically. They work. I think that Moore started to play James Bond more for camp as he went on.
Oh,
and I think that that's part of the reason. That's for one reason, for example, that I like Sean Connery, even though Roger Moore was the first Bond I saw. I like Sean Connery's Bond better because after these first couple of movies, Moore does definitely start to take his own character less seriously. Is the way it appears to me.
No, you're right.
I mean, this is an example. This scene, if I can't quite be convinced by Roger Moore as much as Connery in a scene like this, where he turns the gun on the guy.
No,
Connery would have
thought
lapped
this was
that
an
up.
excellent scene.
It's a good
really liked
scene,
this scene.
but Roger's too nice.
Yeah, Roger is way too friendly.
It's not sporting.
Yeah, Connery looks at you and you think you're going to get killed by him. He had that ability to just give you that look like, I don't give a shit if you die or live. I
Are
don't
you
care.
saying he gave looks that could kill?
Let's put it this way. In Sean Connery's first film, the doctor Strangways comes in and tries and thinks he's shooting him in his bed, and he's sitting in a chair behind the door, and he says, "Not just Smith and Wesson, and you've had your 6," and shoots him twice. And that was the critics went crazy about that. I mean, my God, he shot him in cold blood. That was Sean Connery's Bond. You didn't. You knew that if you gave him that shot, he would kill you. I never got that feeling with Roger Moore.
Nope.
Hey, look, it's a hydrofoil.
It is.
Kind of dates this movie as well. Flying sandpiper. So another thing about this movie is the novel isn't set in the Far East, is it?
I've not read the
It's
book.
in the Caribbean
so-
mainly.
Yeah, okay. You got that knowledge on me. It sounds like you know some
and
of the books.
They were hoping to cash in on the Kung Fu movie craze. This is 74. There's the Hulk of the Craze, this is used effectively in this movie, I have to say. Now in the Hong Kong Harbour, but they moved the whole movie in the screenplay out to the Far East end to cash in and all that. As it
Now
wasn't
was Scaramanga the villain in the
Yeah, it was still
in the book
Scaramanga.
the same way? Okay.
Yeah.
Was it a similar motivation? Did he have 3 nipples? And
Oh, I think he had about 8 nipples in that one. No, I'm sorry.
oh, you're telling me that in the book they were even more homo.
He was more nipply. He was actually the triple. Yeah.
See, this could have been them.
He later
This
on went
could have been them.
to star
But
in Total Recall.
He had to settle for Mrs. Goodnight, and she was the obstacle in his way of what could have been the Bond Lee friendship, friend relationship. I just made up a term now.
Scandinavians. There's always bloody Scandinavians in Bond movies, but there you go.
James.
She's built like a Scandinavian woman. The boobs barely bigger than the palm of your hand.
And it's just a small handful.
Yes.
Don't you just love the names that they've given them over the years? Pusher and Good Night.
And she's a character that's in a lot of the books.
Oh, really?
Books. Books.
I know Books. I know Books.
She's in a lot of the. I think it's the only movie she's in though as a character, and they kind of goofed her up a bit. She's a bit of a goofball.
Yes.
Yeah, she is.
But have you driven a Rolls Royce around town? I mean, I guess
I've not driven one, but I've been in one.
You've been in it. Oh,
I've been in a couple of Rolls Royces.
I bet they're every few minutes, right? No big deal.
It's no big
Just
deal.
get a hold of one.
If you're driving a Rolls Royce, your title is chauffeur.
Chauffeur, yes. You don't drive your own.
That's right.
Yes.
All right. We have Pinochet's helicopter tours for $2. How's it going, dude? Roger Moore era when the goofy CIA agent appears.
Actually, no, that's Felix Leiter,
no.
That's Felix Leiter, and
He
he was played by different actors.
Which movie?
Some actors.
He was ready for Doctor No. He's in Doctor No, I thought, isn't he?
He's in Doctor No. Yeah, actually, in Doctor No, he almost
Hold
he
on.
Gets
Are you talking about the guy with the guy? I'm trying to think here.
Hawaii Five-0, Jack Lord.
Yeah, Jack Lord.
Oh yeah, okay. No, I know what you're talking about now. Okay, yeah. I don't know why it wasn't
because he thought he was the star of the film, Jack Lord, which is why they recast the role after because he wanted too much money.
Yeah.
well,
they almost had a different actor every single time they had Felix Leiter in one of the stories.
So nobody gives a shit about Felix Leiter. We can put anybody to play him. Put a chick in it and make it gay. They don't care. They probably will in the next one.
What are the odds that when you just go to shower that Andrea just like, no, I'm gonna have a gun. All right. I'll just for you guys in the chat. Here's your toxicity for the chat.
This is Holly Goodhead.
Goodhead. I wonder what that could possibly mean. So Maud Adams. Maud Adams has been. She's the only Bond girl that's been in Bond 2, which she's in 3 Bond movies. She's a Bond girl in this, and in what's the other one that she's the Octopussy. And then she's in an uncredited role in A View to a Kill.
That's just a rumor.
It's an extra. No, she's there. She's there. If you look closely on that scene at the docks in San Francisco, you can see her.
What are the odds that you get Britt Eklund to play Goodnight and she doesn't turn out to be the hottest babe in the movie?
I know. Well, apparently Britt Eklund was pissed off because she thought she was going to have the whole spotlight on her. And
you don't go to visit your lady only to have her pull out a gun at you and be like, "Oh, hey, what the hell? Why do you have a gun right in the shower?" And I like how he just disarms the shit out of her really quickly. He's like, "You're gonna break my arm." He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna do it."
I really think this girl should have had a
proud of it.
And I really think this girl should have had a bigger role in the movie.
A bigger role? Oh, I see what you did there.
Yeah.
But she's the barmaid as well, which I think is hilarious. She's not even dancing or anything. She's just the barmaid.
Well, that's just the.
And there's one hung low.
Tradition,
No.
Schlop. Well, he did a lot of schlopping to her for real. Like he was going all in.
Stopping the schlopping.
It's kind of weird. Like
that's the Bottoms Up Club. There you go. The Bottoms Up Club.
He smacked her and he fucked her Like he got the best and worst of both worlds. And also she. So hold on. So technically, were they Eskimo brothers?
Oh, I don't know. You could
Bond
maybe.
and Scaramanga, were they Eskimo brothers and they didn't even know it? With Andrea?
Well, they
I don't think
certainly,
people cared back then.
they certainly had both visited the same real estate.
Yeah. They rented the same apartment.
They were in the same apartment. I love the way they introduced Nick Nack into this scene though on the on the TV, and then he's
on the television,
and he ends up being on his side, dude.
Creepy little fucker.
That's not comics. Comics is not that. I was gonna say not that small, but that would sound really gay.
Angry Gamer. She's not making out with Wormtongue. Come on now.
Exactly.
She probably just wanted a piece of the third nipple. That's all.
And I think we should talking about them being Eskimo brothers. Strictly speaking, they're not. Roger Moore and Christopher Lee are not related, but Christopher Lee and Ian Fleming were. So. We're related. So there is a Bond. He had a close connection to Bond through family.
No. Okay, now obviously we have our opinions on the Moore era Bond and his character. What do you? I'll ask all of you guys on the panel. How about for the look of Moore as Bond? Because I like that he's got the tall factor going on. He doesn't have as definitive of a voice. I feel like it's good. Definitely not definitive. He's got the hairstyle done. He does rock a suit well.
Oh, a safari suit particularly. That man rocks a safari suit like nobody's business. Roger Moore could permanently be in Africa and he'd be fine.
Yeah. Richard, we'll kick off Richard. Well, how do you think as far as the look of Bond goes? What do you think as far as the look of Roger Moore's Bond?
I think in his earliest movies like this and the one before it, not many after, he pulled it off. He was perfectly believable as Bond. I'll just throw out here that Christopher Lee knew the author of the James Bond book, served with him in World War II. And he was on the record in an interview as saying that the actor who most closely matched the author's perception of Bond was Pierce Brosnan. Very young, very handsome, very glib. Roger Moore, in his first movies, could pull that off. As he got older, it became harder for him.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they share. It's usually the other way around.
Yeah. But yeah, no, Roger Moore and somebody mentioned The Saint in the chat, and Roger Moore in The Saint was amazing.
Well, The Saint.
That's its only. Yes.
Yeah.
That's its own series. I mean, it's TV shows, not movies, but oh man, he was the perfect fit for that character.
I think this is one of the best things about this movie is the use of this set, the use of the sunken ship. It's really clever.
The sets in general are
very
nice.
clever.
It makes them look really nice, and then there's areas like this that look really disastrous. No, I agree. 70s. No. There are times where I watch some of these scenes and I see Christopher Lee, as Scaramanga. I'm like, man, he definitely had some Bond-like movements in this movie as a villain. He definitely had some Bond in him. Like, I feel like he could have definitely had. Obviously, he had a look. He had the do. Obviously, he definitely did not have the accent. But man, can you imagine if he did? I feel like Lee maybe could have had some Bond in him. We would never know. It's kind of like a what if type of situation. What if he had the voice?
If he had the voice, Christopher Lee would have made an amazing Bond.
I really think he would have. He holds the gun well too. He does with class and conviction. You see him like when he's at the Gold Dome. Like, yeah, dude, I could see that on a Bond poster. Like if I had a Bond poster and Lee was Bond, I could see that.
There you go. There's the MacGuffin, the Solex agitator. We're going to give a shit about this thing, whatever it is. Look, if it's not a nuclear submarine, then we don't care.
Q is really concerned about the Solex agitator.
Agitator.
That's that when I was opening the stream, talking to Bruce, and Bruce is asking about the Solex agitator. I never even heard of that term until I saw this. I'm like, what the hell is a Solex agitator?
I know.
It sounds made up.
It sounds very made up, doesn't it?
Really
It's a MacGuffin.
Isn't it made up? I mean,
It's a
assumed it
total
was made up.
MacGuffin. It's a total MacGuffin, yeah.
Yeah, it is.
And the whole plot of the solar power is going to be huge, whatever. It's all because of the high oil prices at the time due to the Middle East trouble. Oh my God, we're back there again. Oh shit. Oh my God, we're back to the future. Oh God.
We are back to.
I mean, even in 2023, we still don't have anything near 95% efficiency on solar panels. We're still at like what, 15% efficient?
Yeah,
about that. Yeah.
Oh,
they do fill up landfills really well. I find.
Davina has a great comment here. I was hoping to mention her. I forgot about Miss Moneypenny. I did feel like Roger Moore rocked that scene with Miss Moneypenny. You know, there's always that one moment where Bond and Moneypenny had that conversation, kind of like a will they, won't they type of thing. I did feel like he definitely nailed that conversation down. That definitely is like one of my, I guess, favorite Bond moments from Mr. Moore in this is his interaction with Moneypenny. I thought that, unless because obviously Connery had the best Moneypenny moment.
This is
I love
it's a very risque scene for what you would expect.
It was, yeah.
Yep.
Me.
But it was good that the way they wrote this bit was great because it gives him an excuse to take his shirt off, which is necessary for the plot in this instance.
And this scene would not work in today's time. It's not because of anything social political, but it's because we're in the day and age of technology where you don't just have to have a third nipple. One, there could be another dude who has that. It's all about identifying faces, all the IDs, surveillance and all that. He couldn't pull out just say, all I just need is a fake third nipple, and it's all good. It's all good. Back in the day, you don't have the faces to everyone on the planet, obviously with social media, whatnot. At this point in time, this is definitely a scene that you can never get away with now because of that alone. Now, there's definitely conversation around his interaction with the lady too, but
we forgot
that.
Putin's cat has mentioned what we forgot in there, that her name is Chew Me.
Her name is Chew Me. You didn't say that?
Sean Connery would have had a field day with that. I'm sure your name is Chew Me.
Chew Me.
Good night. Pussy galore.
But yeah, they had to guess where the third nipple was going to go. The British Secret Service, they didn't know where the third nipple was. They just knew there was a third nipple.
Wow. Seriously.
He's not in bad shape, given he was in at least his mid-40s by this time, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. Okay. What's it? Go ahead, Bruce.
I just was saying, like, this scene works out so well because it leads into the fanfare where you get the culture of this island, and they take him to school, and you get to see how in the 70s they would have written a scene to where they could introduce, like, look, we're cool, we've got kung fu in our movie. And I think it actually works out really well. This is probably my favorite part of Act 1.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I do like the slapping around in the shower, but I think this is probably my favorite part of Act 1 right here.
Okay. In typical Bond fashion here in a Bond movie, what's this guy's name? Fat? Something Fat?
Fat Tire or something?
Yeah, in due time I shall be laid to rest here. Yeah, due time's probably going to be 15 minutes, mate. 15 minutes.
High fat is I just like how Bond thinks he's he's got it all figured out here. Only, he doesn't. I was just like, that sure didn't last on his moment of being the upper hand, because it don't last long. Oh,
and when you're talking about Roger Moore's presentation as James Bond in these early movies of his, found out something a while back. Roger Moore was almost the same age as
Connery.
Michael Caine and they came from almost the same area of London, and both had working class fathers. Roger Moore originally had a Cockney accent just like Michael Caine. But unlike Michael Caine, he went to elocution school and was taught how to speak posh British.
Leave it at
Posh British.
He was taught how to speak as though he had gone to a fancy school. And he played his roles that way for the rest of his life. Whereas Michael Caine kept his Cockney accent a little bit rougher around the edges than Roger Moore. But they're actually from the same background. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah. High fat is on the way. It sounds like my diet.
I like how this is becoming a thing in the chat about the name High Fat.
That's right. High fat and chummy.
Let's get High Fat trending. The name's Scaramanga.
Yeah. So if Scaramanga was turned into a cartoon, would he be Scara Anime?
Okay, this is where
that joke slipped right over everyone's head.
I got it.
No, I was just being polite.
Yeah.
I didn't. I miss it. This is one of the things that bugs me. I feel like this is probably one of the few parts I feel like Bond should have caught up that something was suspicious. And I feel like he caught on too late. That just doesn't seem very Jamesy of him. I was not with that scene because the guys all whoop his ass and obviously he puts up a fight, but still it's just like it's one thing they beat him so they could save him because he's got to beat the villain and all that stuff. But I don't know, man. I don't know.
This looks like a scene from a Roman orgy or something. It's
Oh, dude! Now the part where he grabs the guy's ass, he puts his hands. Like I was just like, oh my god!
You mean this part?
He got very handsy.
You mean this part, Nick?
Dude, this is bad scene right here. We got very handsy.
Both hands. Vomit.
Turned him into a farmer. He gave him a couple of acres.
Oh, that's
You have the biggest dick I've ever seen on a man.
I like that one, Grizzly Land. Yeah.
That dude, seriously, like I swear, I think he groped that dude harder than he's groped anyone in all the movies.
Yeah, never mind these skinny dames I get.
He's got that good white knuckle look that you get whenever you're just like trying to squeeze the grape or the orange as hard as possible. You know what I'm talking about, guys.
Oh, yes, we do. Seriously, that like
look at him. He's really getting stuck in, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's enjoying that. I think
he groped him, and he dug his hands deep, and he probably cut into skin doing that, and then he gave him a wedgie right after. Like, what the frick, dude?
3.5 inches of wool going up your scrotums.
No, is that an approved move in sumo? Is that approved in sumo? This is when you find out the little guy was in this tableau at the back. There he is. Hits him over the head with the spear from behind, and rather easily knocks him out. But
he grazed the crack.
Well, Putin's saying, why are sumo in Thailand? They're not in Thailand yet. It's not, but it's still not Japan. It's Hong Kong,
dude.
Still not Japan.
Yeah. And he really was.
For dear life. Yeah.
Click on.
Well, it's a love. That's right.
Oh, that's gonna ruin sushi for a while.
Yep. I'm done with raw fish for the month.
I was thinking about eating the more raw fish.
Just the rolls. I mean, I'm gonna eat the raw fish. Fuck it.
You guys were killing us. Oh man, that was so funny.
And then here's where it gets really wacky. Because once again, they make the mistake of not killing Bond when they have the chance.
Convenient mistake of, and they even acknowledge it too, because he acknowledges it later. Oscar Myers like, yeah, I could have killed you, but I want a fair fight. Only that he goes to run off and go hide in his little laser tag room. I'm like, bro, I thought you said you wanted a fair fight. Now you're trying to do laser tag. What the hell, man?
I'm pretty sure these guys were all in a fistful of yen, but that's take him to Detroit.
All I know is those guys never received the same type of ass grab that he gave to that man. Seriously, like we got to see him. He copped a feel like no other man copped a feel.
Do any of you love your women like he loved that ass? Do you grab your woman's ass like that and tell her that you love her?
But that's what I'm trying to say, Dustin. Bond's always got these hot dames who are in great condition and don't have big asses. For the first time in his life, he got his hands on a real ass.
Right?
Thick.
I tell you what, I'll do this, guys. I'll come on next week with a broken nose because I'm going to do that to my wife tonight.
That's right.
You're going to jump over top of her and grab her ass?
I'm going to grab her ass like Moore went off to that sumo wrestler.
She has to pick you up first, though.
Yeah, you got to throw you over her back.
She can do that. She wrestles diesel tires.
This is funny. This guy does all the slick moves here. 30 pounds of chewed bubble.
What that ass had so many dents that it looked like 30 pounds of chewed bubble gum.
That's all you could reach for was some of it. You couldn't reach for all of it.
I bet you're lifting
they
weights.
not only had him beat, they could have killed him, and then not only could they kill him, but they put him in a room with a room full of ladies. And he's like, "Oh, hey, look, I'm in heaven," type of thing. I was like, "So you comfort him? You don't put him in chains, bog him down? No, we're gonna comfort you. We're gonna give you the upper hand again. After we just took you down, we're gonna help you beat us." Very self-defeating. It's almost like the Riddler or the Joker, but for Bond.
Yeah, I do like this. This is an earlier version of the Raiders of the Lost Ark with the whipping the gun trick. Or you think Bond's going to have to fight this guy kung fu style?
Right. This is no fun.
He's like, this is great because he's not a gentleman. He's a British Secret Service agent.
This was no fight.
I think we may well have that clip.
Oh, show it. Oh, he's got it. Let's whip it out.
I love the way he gives the dismissal, like, little nod there.
Oh, dude.
Then he gives him the bow.
That was a bitch smack in the face, but with a kick.
It was pretty
That
good,
was like the crane kick without the crane.
Yep.
Everyone straight up kung fu fought with that kick,
and then
man.
Chula here is great because he keeps his eyes on Bond when they're bowing.
Oh, I did not know that, Jonah. Thailand's where karate is. The more you know.
Yeah. And there's where Roger Moore's practicing the old Yorkshire martial art of Icky Thump in this one.
Icky Thump.
Icky Thump. Rachel might get that joke.
I get it.
Icky Thump. And this is where we get girl power now. You see, this is ahead of its time yet again. We get girl power.
Oh, yeah. And you know what? But see, there was nothing I feel like they did that felt exaggerated, with it.
Yeah, if they're trained. These girls
they're
are trained.
They came off as a type that they're trained. Obviously, they didn't explain it, so obviously some might try to maybe get the counter argument. But they seemed like they were types that were trained and understand their arts as far as how to fight.
Yeah.
And it didn't feel like anything where it's like where it's nowadays like a Phase 4 MCU, where it's a 3-pound girl who has no proper training can somehow take down a 600-pound guy. Yes, there are rare instances where things like that could happen, but not the way those current movies lay it out.
Look at the size difference between this guy that they just beat and Roger Moore. Roger Moore is more than a head taller than he is. The girls are not fighting people the size of Roger Moore. They're fighting people their size. And they're trained. So the technique, does work. I mean, I studied Aikido, which really is for smaller people. And somebody who's really well trained in that will take you apart, and you won't even know how they did it.
This bit I never quite got. Why did they leave him behind? Why did they leave him? I don't get that.
It didn't make any sense to me either.
Yeah, they just leave him behind. I don't get it. Well, apart from the fact it's an excuse for a boat chase, but yeah, I mean, plot-wise,
a good example of a lady who's fighting big guys, and I guess you could say in the modern age, and it works, is probably Yen in the Continental. Remember when we were covering that on Comics Channel 70s?
Yeah.
Yen was a good example of that. Like, I obviously had my complaints against KD, who was awful. But Yen, as far as those scenes went, she was the only one who could fight big guys, and it made sense because she was adapting to her environment around her, because she knew, okay, I'm outweighed, I'm outmatched. I gotta make this situation work, and she was very smart with it. So there are even a few modern examples, because this isn't just because someone could try to dismiss it as an old movie. You just you grew up on nostalgia by it. No, it's not that. I can provide a good modern example as well. There's the counter to that. So
yeah, you're right. Well, here's another great one-liner, as it were. A
Slide it
Mexican
in.
screw-off as opposed to a Mexican standoff. Don't know if you'd have to know what a Mexican standoff was, of course. Maybe that joke's too toxic now. You can't use it.
I think it's great.
Screw off implies something far different than a standoff, because you got to lay down to screw in most cases.
And now they have an excuse for a boat chase.
I love this scene. The fact that little boy comes out because he's trying to sell the elephant, and he just shoves him off.
20,000 baht, 20,000 baht.
Oh, hey, I'll give you some money, and also he just shoves him right back off. I was just like,
Yep.
Apparently,
it should have been like one of those end credit scenes where he goes back and hands the kid a bunch of money.
Yeah, I think
That would have fit.
I think I saw something that said that Roger Moore ended up in the water twice making this, and once was because the crew said, "Don't you dare fall in the water," and he deliberately fell in. And the second time he fell in, he made the mistake of seeing what was at the bottom of this water. And apparently they use it to throw bodies in. They were using it to throw bodies in that didn't have the money to be buried. Now, that could be apocryphal. Maybe it's not true, but it's just something I read somewhere. So,
It's on the trivia side for IMDb too.
Is it in there? All right. Yeah, I read it as if it was. I mean, it's possible. I mean,
so he scams a kid out of not paying him when he says he shoves him off the boat.
Kid's a chancer.
Has a girl named Goodnight. There's a dude with a third nipple. I'm trying to think of all ridiculous things that are very toxified with this movie. What other things? Well, obviously his relationship with Moneypenny. He's a constant lead on with her.
Yeah, but she can handle him.
We're about to see
but
another
he keeps teasing.
We're about to find another toxic character who's going to enter this movie.
No, well, this is where they repeated because he was so good in the other one, or so noticeable.
Yep.
But this, yeah, and it's funny because him, Clifton.
Yep.
Like, would you? I guess, yeah. I mean, he's portrayed as this kind of, bigoted Southern sheriff, whatever. Well, I say bigoted. There he is. There he is on an exotic holiday in a far eastern country. So hey, he's adventurous. Give him that.
Oh,
the director liked him so much from Live and Let Die. That he's like, put him in.
Oh, look, JW, I just got to have me with cute little elephants. We're Democrats, made though.
Well, that line's coming up. That line, yeah.
I was like, what?
Little pointy heads out them pajamas. You wouldn't get away with that now.
No. He is a wonderfully.
There you go. We're
wonderfully
Democrats.
He's a wonderfully politically incorrect character, even for his day.
But the whole elephant thing again, could be apocryphal, but Saltzman and Broccoli fell out in a huge way because Saltzman wanted a big sequence where they chased on elephant back, on the back of elephants.
You're a big secret.
And, I mean, for one thing, yeah, there's elephants in these scenes, but, I mean, it's not like it's in Africa or India. It's not that many elephants.
Well, they knock him on his ass as soon as he takes a dip. I was like, oh, get your cotton picking, dude.
Speaking of Goodhead.
Holy Goodhead.
You is ugly.
Yeah, that definitely looked very.
And this is when he realizes who he's been looking at, of course. Bond. He recognizes Bond.
Yep. I recognize you.
Now, back at the Chatin.
And it does not go good. No, it does not go good. It goes to shite. It goes to absolute shite. And there's our boy there. What, dude, that white suit. Come on.
And here's the MacGuffin. Yep. It's an early skirt. A skirt was a British or
it's a Nintendo cartridge.
Yeah, that's what it's like. Yeah,
he just basically they need to get to the cartridge. We need
it's
to
got an early
to the console.
It's got an early version of GoldenEye on it.
Pre-release.
That's God damn it! I just realized the joke we should have done. We should have done the GoldenEye slides. I should have done GoldenEye.
The man.
Then Goldfinger should have done GoldenEye.
Golden gun finger eye. Golden eye finger.
I should have done the GoldenEye slides.
Gun. Eye finger gun. Ooh. That does that.
I fingered your gun.
That's also gay.
K. Robert says, bad guy in white, drink.
That's right. It's Roger Moore wears white earlier, though, so they both wore white. It's interesting because that is a similar outfit to Roger Moore's from earlier, isn't it? Well, Roger Moore had lapels on his. It was more of, but it's close.
Action Come here's a great comp. There are actually two golden guns on the set. One was in pieces and one fully formed. The editor would edit between the two on film. Oh, thank you for that insight.
I think I have a picture here.
No, not high fat.
I'm just gonna share this picture here.
Share it. Ooh.
This is in a museum, I think, the International Spy Museum. Mark found this image. So,
Mark, wasn't it made by a lighter company?
Probably because it's made of a lighter, a fountain pen, and what else is it made of? Lighter.
I think in the end credits, I think it said it was made by a lighter company in the end credits.
Yeah, but it's made of 3 pieces. Now, this is a replica, but I mean the original. I wonder who's got the originals. Cigarette case, a lighter, and a fountain pen, which would make sense. Cigarette case and a lighter. But it's pretty neat.
Yeah. No, dude, Mark. If you're out there catching the replay, man, shout out, dude. Thanks for digging this shot. It's nice to see this.
And if anybody's been in the International Spy Museum, then let us know because I don't know where that is.
Dude, you're talking about Death Wish 3. Death Wish 3, everything about Death Wish 3 is just more effective.
It's not a gun, it's a rocket launcher.
No, the Wildy. I think I knew.
I know.
I'm
just kidding.
Feeling that I need to go buy a Wildy right now because somebody said Death Wish 3.
Yeah. Put the slides back up, Nick.
Yeah. Okay, I'm sliding it in. Sorry, I'm multitasking because there's a whole bunch of toxic ladies for the more to be like, look at that.
It was hip. It was groovy too.
This is another toxicity. The fact that this one. I remember Red Shirt. The fact that he's about to get it out with Goodnight, that he puts her in the closet.
That's right. Yeah.
After she just said, "I've been dreaming about."
Oh yeah. He just he puts her on ice and it's like, no, I'll get back to you later.
And he does it with Andrea. Okay. I think if there's one thing between the panel and the chat, and obviously we'll do our scores at the end because tradition. But I think if we can all agree on one thing, this movie definitely escalates on toxicity. This movie has it in space.
It's got some stuff that are not you wouldn't
no
be
David
able to do
Blaine.
now. Yeah.
Oh, hey, look, that line is foreshadowing. I was
no,
trained to expect the unexpected. That
No,
line was
it's-
foreshadowing.
It's not Ringo's wife. It's Britt Eklund was married to Peter Sellers.
Barbara Bach, because she was in Caveman.
Barbara Bach was was Ringo's wife. But
That-
Britt Eklund was Peter Sellers' wife.
That
Yes.
line should have been that's the line that sounds the alarm.
And she
You
must have gone out with
never
Rod
know what
Stewart.
happened. Yeah, I was trained to expect the unexpected, and the unexpected did happen. Here you go. I never thought this would.
Yeah, because in the books she's kind of after him every time she's in the book. And then of course she
all over him in the book.
yeah, well she tries she is interested in him. Yeah, can't remember if it ever happens for her in the books, but then now she has to lie there and listen. Ew, women have to call Mandy.
I love that handle.
Oh, oh, dude.
Yeah,
Well, I guess
Bond almost has two at once here. Almost two at once.
Almost.
He's leaning on it, here, isn't he?
When Bond fills up this period with the definition toxic, dude, for real, this movie. Oh, the fact I originally thought like, oh, okay, he's gonna hold her off, she's gonna go scram somewhere, Adrian's gonna go scram, and then her and Goodnight we're gonna go to do the deed. And then nope, it's you go to the bathroom so you can change, and then I'm gonna put you in the closet and I'm gonna be a few hours. And she falls asleep in the damn closet.
Yep.
And
Oh, no.
she
James-
still
James-
goes back to him.
The thing is that she's doing her duty as a British Secret Service agent. She can't complain.
Yeah,
Oh,
she shouldn't be bitching. She signed up for the job.
That's
She
right.
did sign up for
You
her.
can still
in the-
bitch.
It was in the job description. You got to listen to Bond porking somebody. It's part of your job. She should have just tried to join in.
Yeah, you
That would've been hot.
God, if it came
Yeah.
out nowadays, yeah, she probably would have showed up, and she probably would have had like a big strap on. Would definitely done. And Andrea, after she got Eskimo, she's just like, well, that's complete. And then, well, she didn't realize how complete it was because, well, obviously the deed gets done on her, not the good deed, by the way, but the deed of death.
Rogers was about Bond's about to pop a blue pill here and then, make it up to her.
Yeah.
The service needs women like you.
That's right. Well, actually, because earlier he needed something else, didn't he? He needed something else.
Yep.
earlier.
We need more women to listen to me do these things, and you filled up for the job nicely. Now we just need more of you out there. A good poking was
This was an interesting bit as well, though.
Oh yeah, that's true, David Glenn. Yeah, James would definitely went and made the sandwich nowadays.
Yeah.
I remember seeing this when I first saw it. I was like, bro.
Because really, her role as the Bond girl in this is a little underplayed, really. There's not a lot of her. Handy Randy would disagree that there's too much women in this, but she doesn't do that much. And Eklund's got some stuff, but it's not. They're not overpoweringly in it,
She gets Eskimo brothered, and she dies.
Yeah,
and she did try to relay that she needed James Bond because she hinted that the bullet that he received was from her. That was like her call sign. And then the infamous meeting of the two. Bro, my name is Scaramanga.
Scaramanga. No, sorry, different song.
That's a hell of a name. Seriously,
I love that name.
I know, right?
Yep.
Francisco Scaramanga.
See in this scene here, if you didn't know Moore was playing Bond, Lee kind of looks like a Bond, whereas Roger Moore kind of looks like a nation's, like, I guess you could say, like a national tourist who's going to visit another country.
More of a merchant.
A merchant? You think merchant? To me,
Yeah.
I get like a guy on vacation, tourist vibe.
No, I would agree. I'd agree with that. I think he looks like an executive from a large company. And yeah, Scaramanga definitely comes across here as Bond-like.
Well, Action
And I
Com
think
makes
the
a great point. Yeah.
I think the point is that these two guys, and he's going to say it, Scaramanga does say it, we're not that different. They aren't that different in some ways.
Not that different. No. One gets paid independently as a contractor, the other does it for Queen and Country. But it's the same things they do.
Yep.
And Scaramanga has huge respect for Bond, but Bond, of course, never really has respect for any of his opponents.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Scaramanga, he said it's not like it's a personal thing, whereas there's villains out there who not only want to rule the world, but they want to be the one that says they beat Bond, whereas Scaramanga doesn't even, like, he's not that's not his, like, priority. Yeah, it's like, he would like to be the guy that does it, but he does have more ambitions.
He's not, as he said it there to Mr. Bond, I hope we never meet again because I don't want to kill you, because he's not getting paid to kill him, is he?
No, he doesn't like doing shit for free. He's not a cheapazoid, man.
Exactly.
He has maintenance.
Yes, for sure, yeah. Yeah, Lee was quite the man. Quite the man. Was quite the life.
Check private chat.
Okay. Yeah, so he was quite the man. I mean, true secret agent stuff.
Yeah, there's a part of the Lord of the Rings lore where it's on, I think, one of the extras on the collector's version. Chris Lee is talking to Peter Jackson, and they're trying to do the Grima Wormtongue scene, and the scene doesn't hold well for Christopher Lee because he's like, no, if we're going to do this right, the sound coming out of the person has to sound more of a whisper. And he starts to actually make the sound, or tries to make the sound, imitating what it sounds like when you've got a wind tunnel between your mouth and the hole in your lungs in your back. And it was just one of those scenes where I wish they would have committed it to film, because Lee had convinced Jackson of it so badly. Peter Jackson said nothing. He just had this kind of like shocked look on his face where he said, unable to really respond in kind, because he doesn't know if Lee is talking to him from just work, being an actor and having to study stuff, or is this something from his past where he was doing things in the Secret Squirrel Service where you can't really talk about that. And he just go ahead.
My understanding was that I thought he said, I mean, I don't know what he said in the interview because I haven't seen it, but I think it's very possible, in fact, even likely, that Christopher Lee knew exactly what sound a man made when he was stabbed.
Yes.
Based on what I know of his service in World War II, what little I know. He just said, no, that's not the way it works. That's not what happens. In the, OSS, the spies, agents sent in, you were taught to use a Sykes-Fairbairn dagger. You were taught to take sentries and people out silently so that you didn't have to shoot them or throw a grenade, because that would give away where you were. And yeah, he probably did some of that. I mean, again, he knew the author, Ian Fleming, of the James Bond books. He knew him quite well for years.
Well, they were related by marriage. They were like, or step cousins or something to that. Of that,
Right.
It was like that kind of distance. Yeah.
All right. Thanks for holding it down. I was listening. You guys had good conversation going.
I'm putting links in the chat there where both Lee and Peter Jackson talk about the scene independently. And so if you guys want to have that shared out amongst the masses, there's two really cool YouTube links there where they talk about that.
I'll post in our chat right now. Thank you very much, sir. There's the first link chat. Go ahead and put it under your save to watch later. Okay. Oh, dude. Oh, yes. Now this is the moment here. This is the jam right here where the guy's like, oh no. Oh no.
Yeah. The bridge is that way.
No, I feel like the sound effect is truly the icing on the cake, and that's once again where it adds in once again that continued comedic touch. It sounds like an effect from a Mario game, like when you win like a mission in Mario Kart, and
it's a slide whistle.
Yep.
Cue the Dukes of.
And I wish they hadn't used it because it was one of the coolest stunts I'd ever seen.
They
made it comic. They made it comedic with a slide whistle. That's the kind of stuff you got out of cartoons.
Well, even having the sheriff in the car with him made it comedic, which was probably a little distracting. Yeah, if you think about it. But we have that clip though. We have the clip.
Well, let's get to the clip. Let's get to it because it's still a great scene.
I have shared it.
All right. Oh, hold on. Wrong one. Sorry.
You're not thinking that. I sure
am, boy.
Boy. Never heard of Evil Knievel.
I'm going to make it to...
All right, I can understand why people are bugged by it. I thought the sound was funny, but I could definitely see, it does take away the tension. And I'm sure nowadays that's like a Taika Waititi type of thing to do, where you have a serious scene and it gets downplayed by the humor.
But the thing is that but look at it this way. Compare it to a different jump stunt from Smokey and the Bandit.
Okay.
Where he jumps the broken bridge. Now, that's done perfectly straight. The car lands far on the other side. Now, of course, the car probably was completely trashed when it landed, and they never actually drove away because they trashed a lot of cars in that movie. But what do they do after that? They have Sally Fields going, "We jumped it. I want to jump something else." And he's like, "Jump me."
Mm-hmm.
That's where you do the humor afterwards. Then it worked. But this was just, you guys could go on the drink and die if you don't get this right. So I just thought it took away from it. But this is one of the reasons I switched from liking Roger Moore, the first Bond that I saw, to Sean Connery as my favorite, because too much of Roger Moore's movies were like this, where they went for a gag rather than this is a cold-blooded killer. And they do that at the end. I'll give you that. The end of this movie is pretty close to a Connery move for Roger Moore. But
I feel like the third act really stuck the landing. I feel like it stuck the landing. Even though it was kind of shaky with some of the slow scenes in the middle, I feel like the third act really brought it back. But go on.
But I agree about the slide whistle. It just isn't necessary at all.
Correct.
It's a bad move. It was a bad move.
Yeah, it was poor taste.
No, come on. Putin's cat nowadays, Tom Cruise will do that without a car.
And as a stunt though, it is one of the best stunts in any Bond movie. That car.
That is.
I don't. For me,
you want to bring it back up, Nick?
Yeah.
You want to bring the slides back up? Yeah.
Yeah, I'll get it. Yeah, sorry, got it. Getting all up in the chattiness. Yeah, I think what hurt more. I was going on my language here.
Roger Moore
was the fact that I feel like it wasn't just the humor that hurt him. I feel like he just overextended his time, and obviously, when the time happened, more of the silliness came with it, and his age showing more. I think if he had something like 5 movies, I think the stigma wouldn't be as touched, because I don't feel like he was a bad Bond. I feel like there's truly some great moments, especially early on.
Yeah, there's some good. I mean, it's still better than a lot of it might be not one of the best Bonds, but even one of the less good Bonds is better than most movies. I like E. Clay Thompson's comment About
let me look
Fast
for
and
his Oh, right
Furious.
here. No, I want to have sideways left fast.
That would make them 100% better. Those
Like a
movies.
slide whistle when they take a car to space.
All right,
exactly.
Dash Attack for $5. What's up, Dash Attack? Says not sure why people don't like this movie. It's Christopher Lee and lots of nipples. Also, cue music. Love is required whenever he's hired.
Hired, indeed.
Ooh, I like that. I like that a lot, Dash. Thank
Don't
you,
you
sir.
think
for the $5.
Scaramanga seems very cheap now that it was only $1 million a kill? You know, $1 million. It's just,
Well,
now
he
it seems
kind
quaint.
of points it out to Bond later on when they have their showdown. He does point out like, hey,
Now here they are giving, yeah,
Go
they are giving the villain a cool gadget.
Yep.
As opposed to Bond, which I thought was pretty neat.
Oh, hey, it's our boy. He's back.
Hey, Dash Attack. Good to see you.
He gets all these cards out of his. But this is pretty cool, giving the villain a gadget.
Yep.
Giving the villain Harvey is just almost enough right there.
TZ. TZ, I got news for you, dude. My Green Goblin hot toy I ordered a year and a half ago when I got hammered on stream and you guys raised over $150 and I bought it. It's here. I don't know if you caught the message on Gilded, but it's here and I will unveil it Friday night on the Comic Shop Talk show. You're usually there Friday nights, but I figured I'd let you know in case you missed the memo. Dude, imagine just opening the trunk and then you're in the damn sky. I'm surprised her hair didn't get caught, like in the freaking, like when she closed the trunk back. Like, how did her hair not get caught? Because with all that wind up there in the sky,
So
that
this,
was awfully too convenient.
Actually, a plane? Does anybody know? Was this real? Did it actually fly?
I don't know if it's real, but we'll say it's a plane car. It's a plane car.
Yeah, there's something in the air.
Yeah, I strongly suspect that it's a model.
Is it being it's being
control.
Hung from something flying above it?
Or right. It's either suspended or it's a radio controlled model.
Yeah. But
There is a flying car. That was that I saw flew from one airport to another several years ago, and it was featured on the Grand Tour. But I haven't heard anything about it since.
Richard, I'm always disappointed by the fact that when I was a kid in the 60s and 70s, I believed by this time we'd all have a flying car. In 2023, but here we are. I've been robbed.
Oh, I know.
I was robbed.
I feel ripped off.
As the saying goes, the future ain't what it used to be.
That's right.
They screwed it up because we were supposed to have floating skateboards like in Back to the Future Part 2.
Exactly. Hell, 9
think
years
of how
from
many
now.
bones I could break on.
Sorry, 8 years from now, it'll be Demolition Man. Wasn't that set in 2031? 2031?
Dude, let it. That needs to stay as a movie, not a documentary. Please.
Right.
Do not do that. You disappoint me.
Yeah,
Mr.
I'm already suffering through idiocracy.
How so, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, the person at the store who can't make change without plugging it into a cash register or a computer and calculating what $4.95, $5 and $6 and from $4.95 is or something. So I don't just get change. No, it's just people are not okay. Never mind. Just keep on with the movie.
If it's
we don't need we don't need that digression.
Yeah,
that's a rabbit hole.
All right.
I mean, we can't even buy a manual shift car anymore. Do you understand how hard it is to buy one of those?
Oh yeah, those are tough.
Yeah,
those are very
it's much
tough.
easier to steal one.
Not really, because most people don't steal them because they can't drive them.
Yeah, that's why I own a Honda.
Yeah,
that's why nobody will steal it. Yeah.
Oh, maybe one day we will make Stick Shift great again. And once again, another moment where Scaramanga could have gotten the deed done. So he's had like 3 moments in this movie,
He deserves to die.
and he's just like,
Hmm.
bro. I get the idea. You know, you almost had me when you sat down and say, "Hey, I want to beat you fair and square," only for him to go play hide and go seek in his little lair, his supervillain lair. But bro, which one do you want to be? Do you want to be the guy who beats him with honor, or do you want to be the guy who plays sneaky like a villain? He's kind of leading him on in a non-gay way. He's kind of leading him on.
Welcome to
I
my
feel
lair.
like he misled him. Huh?
Welcome to my lair. Welcome to my lair, Mr. Bond.
Like, how
This
do you
is
go
all-
around?
I-
You make him feel at home. You feel like, okay, he's gonna be brought in with arms wide open, Creed style. This is what the place looks like. We're gonna shoot each other. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be really
It looks
nice.
like that in the background looks like an extremely large version of the medical bay in Star Trek, original Star Trek, above the
Yeah, it
beds. That's what
does.
it looked like.
I
doesn't
still
it?
have not watched Star Trek at all, and maybe
The original
maybe
Star
I'll
Trek
change-
series.
I'll change that.
You've never seen Star Trek OG
I've not
Star Trek.
seen 1 minute of Star
Wow.
Trek.
Well, that's
Wow.
what is above the
Retreat.
beds in the medical bay. Damn it,
Yeah.
Jim! I'm a doctor,
Maybe
not
maybe I
a
need to do
cake
things.
maker or whatever. Apparently, Handy
But
Randy
doctor,
can't.
not a brick layer.
Apparently, that was the rock with the big moving rock. Can't remember the name of that one. Handy Randy can't drive Stick. Apparently,
Oh, the comments are the comments are like,
You probably could with an extension.
he can drive in a circle though. That's all he can do. He just drives in a circle.
at least
He's
I'm
got the other
honest.
hand to go like
It's,
this.
hey, guys, it's not that I don't want to watch it. Just so we're clear, it's not like I've ever been against it. It was just something I never got around to. It's that that's pretty much all that Robin Saltis is on Subnick.
So when Mark D with the C makes his giant vagina shaped thing, you've no idea where it was originally from. Thing he's been making and selling.
The VJJ.
The
The
big
Doomsday Machine.
Yeah.
The
It doesn't mean
Doomsday, yeah.
anything to you. It just looks like a giant vagina shaped thing.
Oh, so the pussy opens up.
Yes. We're
It
being
opens
swallowed.
up
The
far and
Enterprise is
wide,
being
and it
swallowed.
shoots lasers.
I did think all this was you disappoint me, Mister. This was always a little bit anticlimactic because normally you expect a large hangar full of nuclear submarines and 500 villains shooting at you. It's just one guy with a
No.
big. It's one guy with a big lighter, basically.
I can see your point, but I'm actually fine with it kind of just being just him and Francisco and midget Knick-Knack. I actually thought that was actually just fine with it just being them. It
And-
felt more personal in that way. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love having, everything, everything's coming crashing down.
Mhm.
We see a little bit of that, but usually there's a lot more people and bodies involved. This just felt like a very personal encounter, and I actually
Yeah.
really enjoyed that touch. That's what I got from me is because you don't always get that, especially nowadays. Nowadays, everything is about having everyone involved with everything going crashing down. This, and on top of it, about ruling the world. Obviously, these type of villains like to have be in control, but once again, this is a very personal thing for him since it was supposed to be nothing personal, but Bond wouldn't leave him alone. So it's like, okay, well, you made it
That's true.
personal. I'm going to now make it personal.
Well, he had to deal with
want
him.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This
he did.
Action
He tried to
Com's
avoid
got a
it.
good comment. I like Action
Who
Com's.
does?
Com-
Oh,
Action Com. Yeah,
the
this is
laser was
interesting.
supposed to have a golden beam come out of it, but the special effects department was able to make that work. But it gives new context to Scaramanga's line, "I am truly the man with the golden gun."
Because we don't see a golden beam. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good point. Very, very good point.
Thank you. Actually, comes usually always
No
got great.
concealed weapons.
And of course, it's getting busy. It's busy now in the island. There's the 4 of them around here, and there's Kai downstairs doing the whatever he does in the maintenance.
Oh yeah,
department.
aka not Farouk from WWF. That's why
That's
I
it,
not
that's
Farouk
it.
from WWF because he looks just like Farouk. It's like, okay, and I love how Goodnight's just like the only one like in a swimsuit, and all the other guys are just like fully clothed. I was just like,
somebody works for Penis.
Toxic.
Oh, Peanuts. Sorry.
Very toxic scene, of course.
Hmm.
All right, then.
Always in Bond movies as well, the villains always treat Bond to dinner before they get down to business.
Maybe all his villains in disguise are kind of gay.
Oh, some of them are probably more
they all try to butter. They all try to butter him up. They try and make him feel at home, and it's almost like the equivalent, like they want to drug him. And
Christopher Lee couldn't be gay.
He wants to put a shot in his face. Like, I'm just saying, like, the dots kind of line up. Except he wants his to be special, as he makes it clear. I just need one. Because, Bond's talking about how, he's got the 6, so it's...
I only shoot once, Bond. I only shoot once, Mr. Bond.
And Mr. Zenith, Dr. No is definitely gay.
I think so.
I think we're on. Hey, yes. So Mad would be. Oh God, dude, Mad is the perfect Bond villain. He is perfect because the women would be his kryptonite. If Mad saw a woman,
just the Walther PPK.
Mad would fall apart like the way Superman does around kryptonite. Mad would if he saw a lady. Tell me that's not Farouk from WWF. I should get him and compare and contrast. It looks just. Like, that strip looks just like fucking Farouk, man. Nation of Domination, APA. I was like, what the? Hold on, dude. I hear something about fembot. I don't see any bots unless we're talking about something else. Nope, no bots. No bots in this chat. No bots. This way, Mansoor Bond. Now, Bond's way of handling Scaramagno was perfect. Oh man, the fact that he was walking around the room thinking, oh, this is gonna be it. I got him set up, and this is gonna be it. I'm gonna give him one shot, one kill type of thing. And Bond did the perfect thing. He became the thing that was there at the beginning. That once again, set up payoff. Statue set up there to be an impersonation for test run. And he impersonated the test run statue, and then he got the drop on freaking Francisco.
I want to go back here.
Okay.
Just want to go. I want to go back and look at something here.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, keep talking. It's okay.
Well, I just thought that was a very good step into being able to beat that guy because obviously, this is where is he? And then once he saw that thing, he's like, oh, hey, you got this statue here? Okay, I'm going to use that to my advantage. I
was wondering who that was on the screen. It's one of the dummies in the screen. It's a dummy. I thought maybe it was a reflection or something, but it's a dummy. So, carry on, Nick. Sorry.
Not so good. I really like that aspect. I can, once again, I think it's fair people could see as anticlimactic. I didn't feel like it needed to be anything more. I originally thought it was going to be a Western shootout where they're going to split up distance and then shoot off, but it ends up being, the laser tag, but with a shoot off in the laser tag.
I think it's just because it's on a smaller scale than people were getting used to for Bond endings, which usually, as I say, ended in a huge hangar with hundreds of people shooting at each other.
Yeah.
Because it was a smaller...
They were getting bigger. To your point, so
some of them had
getting bigger, especially right when Thunderball was kicking off. He had big sequences that would be 20, 30 minutes. It would be almost like either all under seas or
look at You Only Live Twice, huge ending, huge base.
You Only Live Twice. Yeah. So that is a very fair argument. I can see why people, when you get used to that, it kind of makes you like, oh, you give me all these big endings, and now you bring it down with this.
This is more realistic. It's on a smaller scale, and it's more of a one-on-one battle through the movie.
Yeah,
exactly. I love this one because this isn't some megalomaniac who wants to rule the world like most Bond villains. This is just a guy who kills people for money, who has got to deal with James Bond because Bond has come after him, and it's personal. It's something he has to take care of. And the fact that he doesn't have an army of guys hunting Bond all over the island he is Bond's equal. He's Bond's equal. He could take Bond. The question is, which one of them is going to get that first shot off?
Hmm.
And as it turns
This is-
out,
This is where Goodnight tells this guy to chill out.
Ah! and we get yet another a great toxicity moment, because as he's trying to undo that little cap to get the Nintendo cartridge out, her ass literally hits the lever that starts to make everything go to shit. And she didn't even recognize that her own ass. Yeah, her own ass caused everything to set off, and he just gave her shit for why everything's going wrong.
I have a little bit of a physics problem here, because it says there's a big sign up that says this must be maintained at absolute zero. You can't maintain anything outside of the biggest, strictest laboratory conditions at absolute zero. Which is minus 274 Kelvin, Richard, isn't that right? It's like
yes.
It's almost impossible for humans to do that, and he's got that open to the air. There's no way he can do that.
I could real quick explanation. The physics department at my college had a room in the first floor that had a piece of concrete isolated for the whole rest of the building, where a helium liquefier was supposed to be, but it had been sent to another college, another university. Just the vibration from the heating and cooling system in the building would raise the temperature several degrees.
So to have this in the open here.
Yeah, this is Bond physics, like Coyote physics in the cartoon. This is Bond physics.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course. There's physics.
And there's a giant cheese grater behind him. I hope he knows that. For pizza. The guy's been making huge pizzas.
Right.
Pizza. If only they were making pizzas. 0 Kelvin, negative 20, 274 Celsius. Thank you, Diva. Dude. Bro. She was almost complicit for the fourth death of Bond. The fourth man. This was Bond's version of a cat has 9 lives. He's the damn cat, and he had 9 lives. Good night. Are you still there? His rant towards her about the button. The button. Just press anything. Was
your
hilarious.
Fat arse is just now. I like D. Martin says, why does he need a sign? He only has 1 employee. It's like, why does he need a sign? You need a warning sign for.
Yeah, just tell them
he's a pretty stupid employee.
But...
And just remember, guys, there's still a handy Randy running around as this is all going on. As freaking Francisco had his final shot, and boom, 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 everything happens. Dude, that handy Randy sneak in on the ship was fucking hilarious.
I have to say that if I'd been living on that island like Scaramanga, I'd be pretty worried that thing could have blown up so easily. You're in bed at night and all of a sudden there's a slight drop in temperature or a rise in temperature, boom, your whole place explodes.
Give or take a little. Oh, there's a little, all right, yeah. Oh, of course, he's got right to it, too. Freaking knick-knack popping up there. Man, that little midget put up a fight.
He did.
Hervey was a bad man.
But the fact that he put him in a briefcase.
That's right. Yeah, how toxic is that? Peter Dinklage does not approve.
Oh, dude. Peter Dinklage probably would have a heart attack in rage if he saw this.
Oh, absolutely.
He put him in the briefcase. You can't do this. You can't do this. And then he puts him up on. I don't know what that thing was, but it was part of the ship, so he could get. So he basically he made a midget.
Just the netting at the top of the mast. Yeah, he's pulled him up to the top.
He made that midget
mast.
his bitch prisoner. I thought that was so fucking funny. I was like, wow, he really just did that. And then the lovemaking happens. I love how they make the phone call. And I feel like that scene is something that the world is on of. Their ending expanded on from this scene's ending because they had the phone call in this movie, and their boss has to be stuck living to fuck. But if you remember, in The World Is Not Enough, it's Bond making love to who is the girl in The World Is Not Enough. I can't remember. But let's just say Bond girl. We'll just say Bond girl.
Generic Bond girl.
And they had the heat signature on Bond. And remember when he was fucking his body, that his heat scan was getting red? Like, it's getting redder. Look, it's getting redder.
Nothing will beat the line in Moonraker. I think he's attempting re-entry. What's he doing? Attempting re-entry. But as somebody said in the chat, Action comes out, they get back in this bed, it's covered in broken glass.
Yeah.
Like, oh, yeah.
Who cares,
They clean that up really quick.
Yeah.
Seriously.
But the other thing is that he's making a mistake sleeping with her because she's heard his performance. He's now got to live up to whatever he did with Maud Adams with her, or she'll be upset. Like she can judge him.
I guess it depends on how good he is to the women, and not so. You know what I mean? Like, because they forget everything.
That's true.
Christmas comes twice this year.
Twice this year, yes.
Oh, too fucking funny.
That's a rotary phone for all you young people. Rotary phone dial for all you young people.
And there's our midget stuck.
Yeah. Who's about to burn to death in the hot and tropical sun.
Oh,
love is required whenever he's hired.
Love is required. Yeah. Good night, Andrea. And yes, and this is a lot of time when the credits were about 1 minute. Imagine that, guys.
Because the credits started at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
Oh,
half of them were at the beginning.
You're right. Thank you for subscribing next to this video. Do appreciate it. All right, chat. Get out your scores. And we're going to look at some stuff while we're doing that.
Chat, get the scores out. Here's the car. I have no opinions on it, but I'm sure you guys do. Red Shirt, you got to have an opinion on this. Not a good one, I suspect. But.
Well, no, I was never a huge fan. It was a decent looking car for its day, that's for sure. There were uglier ones made by the same company, like the Pacer and the Gremlin.
The Pacer, yeah.
But that was their kind of their muscle car, and it was successful until the company went out of business, in which case it wasn't. But yeah, it was a performance car in its day. The company focused on making smaller cars, so you didn't get the huge boat with a great big V8 engine. They were kind of nimble. They were reasonably capable cars, so that made sense for Bond to be driving one in this. Certainly made more sense for him to be driving one of these than a contemporary British car, which the electrics would have just failed and left him stranded by the side of the road.
Well, indeed. Did it have to maintain absolute zero though to run properly?
That's right. That's the thing. And you have to keep it absolutely dry, which in Great Britain is very easy because it never rains there.
So this is an interesting toy that Mark found because they're getting their messages mixed here because Bond didn't have a golden gun.
No.
And yet it says it's a James Bond pistol. Bond didn't have the golden gun.
Back in a time where you could have a toy gun.
A toy gun, isn't that terrible?
There's a YouTuber that I watch. He does a giveaway every year at Christmas time. He does thousands of dollars of toy guns for tots.
Dude, badass.
He's a Second Amendment channel, but you know.
Who is it? Who is it?
It's the Yankee Marshal.
Okay.
We should let Tox know about that. He would definitely get in on that. That's for sure. That's cool, dude.
Ooh.
For freaking
Sorry, I didn't mean to play that.
They didn't have a lot of toys for this movie when it came out. They only had the gun, the novel, and I think the soundtrack, and that was it. I haven't found anything else.
Well, you know, not too
They
many
didn't have
things
the
were
flying
needed
car?
for the man.
Yeah, I know, right?
They didn't have a car
This is,
that flipped over on. Oh, dude, see that would be cool to have a toy that has a ramp flip around. Grant, I know you had that with Hot Wheels and all that, but if they had one built the way this did, bro,
with
just
a
saying.
slide whistle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Yeah. Oh, I'd buy that. I'd be all in on that. You know, I'd be all in on that. Come on.
Well,
Tell me you
he
wouldn't want
mentions
that.
Evil Knievel just before they do the jump, and
Yep.
there were
He
plenty of
does.
those toys around.
Yeah,
in the
he.
70s.
I
Oh,
remember
yeah, he
the
did.
motorcycle on
Yep.
track. Oh,
Are you playing a small portion of the song?
I don't know if I should. I just wanted to
I
show.
think that's
Yeah, I don't know
dangerous.
if that's
don't do that.
I
Don't
don't
do
know.
that.
That might not be safe because you
No.
all they like to.
But I
I
do like
trust
the
me. I
fact-
want to.
I do like
I
the fact
want
because
to.
her real name is Marie McDonald McLaughlin Laurie.
That's a
Lulu.
mouthful.
It is. That's what she said. Little Scots lass. Good little Scots lass. But she's looking kind of tidy here, I'd say. She's all right. You know? Tidy. She's tidy.
Of all the words used,
Tidy.
I know.
I mean, that means she's
Compact and
Scottish
bijou.
cubed.
That's right.
It
Compact
just
and
sounds
bijou.
funny when you say tidy.
Anyway.
You're like,
There
I
you
got nothing.
No, I got nothing now. Either.
Tidy.
Tidy. She's looking very tidy.
Tidy.
Tiny. Tidy.
Tiny.
Compact. She's compact and bijou. So.
You're a tiny tidy. Oh.
Well.
All right, dudes. All right, let's read some comments here. Vince Womack, overall 6.6, toxicity 7.3. Equate Tomasin, toxicity 7, greatness 7, nipples 3. Jonah Heck 7, judo chops out of 10. Josh Post, toxicity 20 out of 10, overall 10-10. Car barrel rolls 10-10. Amelia Clark scroll. I love that name. Hot bitches, stunts, and a bastard in charge 10-10. Keely Chow, toxicity overall 10-10. D-Bud Martin, overall 8 out of 10. Toxicity 8 out of 10. Nipples, radioactive, toxicity equals 8. Greatness equals 9. Vulcan lives, says 7 out of 10 for Bond film. Toxicity 10-10. The scene where he bangs one chick with the other way in the closet is classic, LOL. And that's a straight up, for me, that's a Bond all-timer scene. That's an all-timer scene as far as Bond scenes go. K. Roberts, overall 7. No minion battle. I'll do miss opportunity. Toxicity 8. 10 for best gun in GoldenEye N64. The Angry Gamer, toxicity 6.5. Greatness 2. Not a Roger Moore Bond fan. Rob Altus, toxicity 8. Car stunts 8. One-liner 6. Overall 8. And they got Mr. Zenon, 1993. Overall, 6 out of 10. Toxicity, 8 out of 10. Would be 10 out of 10 if those schoolgirls weren't so badass. Oh. And that Phoenix 908, all the way toxic, 7 out of 10 for greatness. And if any more come up, I will highlight them and acknowledge them as well. So I will now let Dustin sound off on his thoughts on The Man with the Golden Gun.
Well, watching this movie I watched it for the first time today, and I was just wondering, like, this guy's charging $1 million per hit, and he's got like the worst possible gun. And I know there are probably people who will disagree with me on that. I mean, it's I don't know, it's like an up close personal thing, but he's trying to shoot it at distance.
Okay.
Maybe because I enjoy firearms and such, but
yeah.
I was just like, why would you want to go with such a weird, strange, niche item to get the job done? You're charging somebody $1 million to get the job done. I don't know. And maybe he's good at it. I guess, it's whatever. I don't know. It just bugged me. Hot girls in this movie. I don't know. There's something about the 70s women. You know what I mean? Probably gonna get myself canceled.
Is it like the absolute like they weren't there for Woodstock, but they're here for the free sex anyway?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just it was just a different time, I guess. I don't know. But I missed it. It's like I feel like there was more free love and I missed it. Now I'm like, I was a kid of the 90s, 80s, 90s. Well, getting into loving was like the 90s. But anyway. I thought overall it was a pretty good movie. I mean, I love the idea like he could smack a woman to get his point across, like you should. And I mean, you just gotta tell him, and he had to tell her more than once.
Second time, black eye. Third time, other black eye. Sorry.
He was classy. He didn't give her any black eyes. He classed it up,
Unlike
I
Philip,
think, and I mean, he's kind of a hero. I mean, he's like, he's banging one chick when there's another chick in the closet, and then he bangs her too. It's like, man, this is the song that Tina Turner should have wrote about. We need another hero. I mean, he doesn't wear a cape because not all heroes wear capes, and I don't know. I don't see anything toxic about this movie. I think he did exactly what he was supposed to do, and so maybe a 2 for toxicity just for the gun thing, and then 10 out of 10 greatness because he was great.
Okay.
You can't deny it.
Okay. Oh, well, hey.
Sir bangs a lot.
Yeah, Sir bangs a lot.
He may not have given any black eyes, but somebody got a couple of black balls at one point.
What are you going to do?
Yeah, I saw that.
Alrighty. Well, let's see here. We got a few more here. We got Phantom Outsider, Toxicity, 8, Greatness, 9. I actually drove a boat of an AMC Matador. When I first started driving, I think it was amazingly fast, but a huge gas guzzler. Lucky gas was 0.5 a gallon. LOL. Action Comp, Greatness, 7 slide whistles, Toxicity, 8 glasses of canal water. Oh, perfectly put. All right. 70s. Why don't you go? You go second. And by the way, thank you for your sliding in show service. You are very very movable. Very movable. I was like, he is efficient, and it was just everything just felt so loose and free.
I can slide it in when required. Just don't
like
ask
my
me
boxers.
to do it too often. So
Did you just say though?
Thor. No, I said so.
Okay, Grace Randolph.
I actually disagree slightly with Justin on the toxicity. I think this is a low-key more toxic movie than I recalled when I'm watching it there. There's a lot of stuff in there you wouldn't get away with now, particularly descriptions of people, treatment of the women as usual, racial stereotyping. There's a lot of bits and pieces in there that could be seen as being toxic. So I think it's more of a 6 than it is a 2 for me for toxicity. Still not a 10, although there's a couple of lines in there you probably wouldn't get away with at all. But and I don't think anyone could really complain about Nick Nack's treatment. I mean, he was not at all a figure of fun in the movie. Because of his height. In fact, he was figure of fun, a very small figure of fun. But he was actually a bit of a bastard, really, So there was nothing. Yeah, so I'd say 6 out of 10 for toxicity. Now, it's never been one of my favorite Bond movies. It's kind of a little bit forgettable, especially as I realized because was the first time. Especially as I really enjoyed Live and Let Die, which I'd seen before this when at the cinema. It was the first Bond film I'd ever seen at the cinema, Live and Let Die. I still thought it was pretty good at the time, but looking back, and it was like, there's not a lot that sticks in the memory. That's the problem. Even some of the best bits feel like they're a little bit copying what was in Live and Let Die. The car stunt is great, but It was almost aiming for what they did with the boat stunt in Live and Let Die a little bit. So it's kind of like repeating what they did in that movie in some instances. However, it had some pretty good locations, some good one-liners. I think overall, out of 10, I'd probably give it and it's still big. Even one of the lesser good Bond movies is still better than many other movies. So I'd probably say it's a 7 out of 10 for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll give it a. I've got to admit, it has its shortcomings.
Ah. All right, Bruce, let it rip.
Okay. This is not a Bond movie that you find me watching in my free time. This is in my bottom 2.
Okay.
And the problem that I have with this movie is the campiness of it. And it's always been like that for me. I just, this is not the Bond film I really enjoy. The part of the movie I really enjoy is any part with Nick Nack or Scaramanga. Even the car scene going over the bridge, that has to be on mute because the slide whistle just pisses me off. I liked a bit more serious tone in my Bond films, and I felt this movie was probably the one that reminded me too much of the potentially awesome but very flawed 1960s Batman TV show. We have a really cool character. We have Batman. We have all the really cool bad guys. We're going to camp it up and make it for 11-year-olds. No, not really. When you start reading Batman and then you start reading the new Batman, you want the adult stuff. Even as a kid, you're like, no, this is too happy. And this movie just feels like it's far too much got the tongue firmly planted in the cheek. And the double ass grab on the sumo guy is hilarious for me. I always watch that and laugh. But I watch this movie on mute, and I hate to say that, but when I see Nick Nack on there, I'll turn it on because I like Herb. Herb is a very, very good character in Hollywood. I really appreciated his contribution to my upbringing. And the reading any books about Herb is recommended material for anybody with young boys. I must admit, if you want to have young Hellraisers, go ahead, read this. The little shit was fun to read about. But I gotta say that this movie fails me on a lot of aspects, and it's really just Roger Moore. Roger Moore doesn't really grab me as Bond in this film. He comes off to me like a State Farm insurance agent. That happens. He does. He just comes off to me as a merchant that's just on a extended vacation, and he gets all this stuff happened to him. This is like the knockoff, the Wish version of Bond in like Flynn or our man Flynn, and I didn't really enjoy that either. And I wanted to. I really wanted to. This movie, despite those shortcomings that I've stated, this movie does have a lot of good stuff to it. The Bond song is amazing. The opening song is great. I do like the idea of the fun house that Nick Nack and Scaramanga have. I think that's just fun. That's just a fun little thing. He's not there to rule the world like we already talked about. He's just got kind of like this trophy list he wants to achieve. And the entire movie is a wash for me, except for those two. If they would have just made a movie about him being a super assassin with his little midget henchman, been 10 out of 10 for me. But this movie has some good things in it. It's got the aforementioned performances. We do have two very beautiful ladies, and sadly, Britt Eklund is not the prettier of the two. She is a gorgeous woman, but she's relegated to the closet. And it's got some good moments. There's some good things in here. I got to give this movie a 7 out of toxicity because a product of its time it is. But even back then, some of the things were kind of rough for people to watch. They just said, I think he's a little bit too rough with the women. Okay, well, fine. Bond was never somebody who was I'm going to give you a hug, Patsy. He's never that guy. You want that? Go watch Mr. Rogers or something else on PBS. Bond is he slaps people and doesn't give a shit about the sex, and he does that. He slapped a dude on the dojo floor, and that was kind of cool. But you have a lot of good toxicity in here, a product of its time, and I think it kind of is. It's also included in Live and Let Die, the movie before this, and there's a lot of good toxicity in that. I can't wait for us to review and watch that. I think that's a very, very good twofer. I really do. I wish we would have done a double feature, talk about them both together, but that would be a 5-hour show.
Oh yeah.
But
Oh man.
this is a good movie. If you want to know what people were talking about in the 70s, this is a good film because this does go on to the energy crisis. We did have the bullshit oil embargo stuff that happened. The lines of 1974 was a big thing. I wasn't alive back then. I was coming out of mom in 75. But I got to say that this is a fantastic movie that's a time capsule. If you guys that are kind of upset about the problematic stuff in it, you have to look at it as a time capsule. This is how people lived. And we didn't give a shit about being problematic. You just gave a shit about, am I going to work tomorrow? Am I going to be able to have enough money for gas whenever it's my day to buy gas? And just look at it like that. It's as far as greatness is concerned, this is not a great film for me. It's a 6.5. The good outweighs the bad. There's a lot of bad though. And yeah, I'll give it a 65 out of 100. But I think for toxicity, it's a 7 out of 10. And it does some really good things. And I really hope that people do watch this movie because it does show you a lot of the material that had transcended from 1973 when they filmed it to whenever you're watching it today.
Okay. Thank you, Bruce. Well said.
I try.
We got Dearest, Toxic 8, Girls in the Closet, Greatness 7. All right, Red Shirt. Hold up. Before I do, Richard Harris, who I've not seen before, but welcome to the show. In case you're
He's
new,
the guy that left a cake out in the rain.
Toxicity 6, Film 5, Lee Kind of Wasted, 10 for Remaster, not removing camera crew and belly dancer dressing room fight. All right. Thank you for your
yes, that's true.
Mr. Harris.
Good catch.
Appreciate that.
There's a mistake there. Yeah.
All right, Red Shirt. Slide it in.
Okay. Yep. This movie is made mostly for me by the inclusion of Christopher Lee as the man with the golden gun, as Scaramanga. I thought he brought more gravitas to his role than Roger Moore brought to Bond. He has a cool lair that he holds up in. He and Bond are very similar. Yes, they're both basically paid to kill people for different reasons and with different motivations, but they're both licensed to kill, as it were. And Bond needs to find him. Scaramanga finds him first, and essentially it's a duel between these two. The scene where they have to pace away from each other for 20 steps and Bond turns around and fires and Scaramanga's not there is almost like what this whole movie is. It's a duel between these two guys. Who's going to win? And I don't know. I think James Bond was, there's too much camp. I agree with Bruce. I think the only reason that Bond had a believable victory at the end of this film was that Scaramanga had put a very realistic statue of Bond in his funhouse, and Bond replaced the statue of himself, and therefore surprised Scaramanga. Wouldn't have otherwise. So it's, I agree that I think the point that was made that this was moved to the Orient to take advantage of the Kung Fu movie craze, the martial arts movie craze of the early 70s is probably absolutely valid. It makes sense. I mean, it's not that the movies ever adhered too particularly closely to the books, because they didn't. But it is not a great, in some ways it's not a great movie. It's a very thin plot. They have no idea who Scaramanga is, but Q and one of his technicians figures out who almost certainly made the ammunition that Scaramanga uses. Oh, please. Talk about this becomes, even by James Bond movie standards, that's thin. So it's an artificial movie from toxicity point of view. It doesn't get much more toxic than stuffing a woman in a closet so you can have sex with another woman and then pulling her out of the closet so you can have sex with her after the first woman's gone. I mean, even in my craziest fraternity years, shit-faced on beer, it never occurred to me that I could ever pull that move off, nor not that I would have. But that's toxic. So, this is just a guy, he treats women like condiments. I'll have a little of the ketchup. Now I'd like some salt. It's that is the part of Bond that I do appreciate. And that's one of the reasons why I love the big James Bond films, because they are so toxic. He is such a, I don't really give a damn kind of a character. He's there to do a job. He's going to do the job. If he can get some recreation on the side, he will. So for toxicity, I'd put this one at about an 8. For greatness, it's not one of the greater movies. I mean, again, I think it's elevated by Christopher Lee, and the difference, it's not the megalomaniac who wants to rule the world. So it has that difference going for it. And then I think in a lot of ways they wasted that, and they didn't really make that dual aspect work as well as they could have. So I'm only going to give it a 6 on the greatness scale. This is not one of my all-time favorite Bond films. There are definitely ones that I like more, have better things. The car stunt's amazing, but they jumped a boat over a bridge in the previous movie, and they did some other amazing boat stunts in the previous movie. This movie's boat stunt was a bunch of guys running around in a canal, and somebody ran over a long boat in the middle of a long boat and sank it. Not much there. So no, this is it has its moments. There's definitely, but it's not one of the greater Bond movies. And Roger Moore. I think Roger Moore got off to a bang. Got off with a bang with Live and Let Die, because that is a book I do remember reading right around the time that I saw the movie the first time. We'll talk about that next week. This one I really liked more when I was a kid and I saw it.
Mm-hmm.
Watching it again,
yeah, I'm the same.
As an adult, I'm kind of like, when I was 11, I didn't really notice how thin the plot was, how coincidental some of these things were that happened. That the plot needed to happen. They didn't give me, any reason why this is going on. So no, it's not the greatest written story. They had a great actor to come in and play opposite Bond, and Roger Moore was still finding his feet as Bond. This being the second movie that he did, and it'll be interesting to see as we talk about the first movie and then talk about more of them later this month, what people think of Roger Moore's performance as he goes along and makes Bond his own character. That's where I am.
Okay.
Well, fucking awesomely said. And you got an incredible analogy, by the way, on, the great toxic scene. I, like you, I enjoyed Christopher Lee's performance as a villain. Roger Moore, I'd say was fairly good as Bond. I would say he was incredible. I did think he had some really great lines as Bond. Action-wise, besides the great car flip, could have been a bit better. I actually didn't mind the story at all. I have no complaints about the story as far as what it's about, how it played. I feel like it could have trimmed off about 15 minutes of the movie, though. I feel like 2 hours and 5 minutes kind of hurt it. Not like so bad, but I'd say hour 50 would have been definitely good. Like hour 50 would definitely been really good for this. Many, and I mean many great toxic moments. Absolutely freaking awesome. I thought the third act was good. I thought the third act was really good. And I'm trying to think here. I love how ridiculous and on the nose things were. And also, like, once again, like, whoa, hold on. He brought that kid Buddy and just tosses him right off the boat. And then and then you have names like Goodnight. Like, oh man, this movie, I tell you. There's some things. I did enjoy, of course, the opening music from Lulu. I thought it was a really good song. I think actually it's a really good song. I would say it's like my favorite, but I would say it's definitely in the higher echelon of Bond themes. So I do think it's a really good song. I did enjoy the sets as well. I thought the sets looked really, really awesome. Definitely a bit more stripped down. And of course, the third act was a bit more stripped down. I thought, that's a welcome change of pace from what's come before. I can understand, if you're used to the stuff that was going big, I get it. But for me, I thought it worked. I was down with it. And also, dude, freaking had a midget hanging up on the freaking ship, as we said, to get sunburned. Holy fuck, man.
He wanted to be tall.
In a briefcase.
Is he done yet? I'll leave him up for a bit longer.
He wanted to see. He's never been able to see that far.
I'm gonna give this movie about 11 nipples. As far as greatness, I'm gonna go actually pretty generous. I'm gonna go around 7.5 out of 10 as the greatness. The toxicity, I'm gonna give this a very good like 8.3, 8.4 on the toxicity. This is definitely one of the more toxic ones of the bunch. So definitely, I would say if you're a Bond fan, you could get a Bond. No, I do know some people who this was their first movie and they love it as their first movie. So I don't want to say it's not a good gateway because I've met those people. This was their gateway and they love it. So I would say, yeah, maybe if you're getting a Bond, I would say it's my ideal Bond, but that's easy to say because I've seen them. But it's clearly accessible for those again to Bond. So if you're a Bond fan, just want to kill some time, put it on. And if you're someone who's trying to get a decent idea, not the best idea, but a decent idea of what James Bond's about, you'll get a good amount of it here. And that, my friends, 2 hours and 10 minutes later, is The Man with the Golden Gun. So shout out to Mark D with a C for setting up this slideshow a year ago that we finally got to use now.
I remastered it.
And in 70s remastered it. So thank you, 70s, for taking over for Mark C's duties.
For all the other stuff.
I'm sure his duties are very well received. And I want to thank all the super chatters. And I want to thank Empress NM for the direct donation. Appreciate that. And I saw some new subs. Thank you, guys. I do appreciate that. Next week, we'll be on here for Live and Let Die. We're going to have fucking fun.
Live and let die.
I think that the music alone, that's going to be a half-hour conversation on the music alone.
You got to do
I can't wait.
You got to do it right.
Yeah, it's gonna be diabolical.
It's gonna do it well. Sorry.
We'll do a longer episode. We're gonna do a longer episode for next week's. We're gonna definitely do a longer episode. So
Action Com, they did a remake of that song on Use Your Illusion 2, I think.
Yes, it was on one of the Use Your Illusions
Part 2.
Yeah. So guys, Live and Let Die next week. And once again, for all the regulars, thank you for coming out for this. I know it's obviously one that's more mixed feelings on, but you still showed up and support anyway. I do greatly appreciate that. For the newbies, I hope you liked what you saw. And I want you to come. I want you to come back for more. So please do come next week.
I'm going to come.
Want it to be huge.
And come out of the closet. Like Brit Eklund.
Like good night. Please come out. Okay. Thank you. Anyways, on my channel, I posted a video yesterday about what's going on with Alpha Core, the Alpha Core campaign on the Rippaverse side of things. I do some compare and contrast to previous campaigns, add some context, especially for some price reductions and the differences in those. So please do check out that video. I'll have another one this week about how comics used to be the leading marketing for, well, everything that came with comics. So, and of course, Comic Shop Talk on Friday night as well. And you can find me at Midnight's Edge after dark Tuesday and Thursday. And I'll be on Comics Division's Thursday Night Throwdown to talk about the Marvels. Oh, what a joy. All right, chat. I'm going to let these gentlemen plug their plugs on the way out. Seriously, thank you for your support. We're going to let these men plug out. And we're going to start off with Dustin. Hi,
all right,
Dustin.
everybody. Hello. Hello, hello. I'm glad to be back. I was gone in Florida for like 2 weeks.
Huge.
So content's rolling. I did a live on Sunday. We did a live today. I will be joining. Yeah, I'll be joining Brian and the Rowdies on Thursday over there on the Rock and Roll Rowdies channel, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Friday, Shander and I will be on a live at 6:30 p.m. It is Cindy's and Sana's channel. I will be posting on my community tab about that if anybody is actually interested. I have started or will be starting a new live every Saturday morning at 7:30. The time will be fluid on Saturdays because I plan to have West Coast people, and 7:30 a.m. Eastern is way too early for them. But I'll be having guests on Saturdays talking about keto and all that stuff. And then on Sunday, join me. I do a coffee at 7:30, and we talk about whatever I feel like talking about. So yeah, a lot of lives. I've got some other non-live video content coming. Just keep an eye out if you're interested. And I'm getting very close to 4,000 subscribers. I'm like 80 away or 70 away or something like that. I don't know.
Ooh, hot damn, dude. Hell yeah. So guys, in the description, I have all these gentlemen's channels plugged in. Just right click it, it'll lead you directly to their channels. That's up to and including Mr. Dustin of Keto Simple. Thanks for hanging out, sir. I can't wait to live and let die with you next week. You keep it up, and you're gonna be at 4K soon. I'm gonna be approaching 2K soon. Finally,
let's do it, man.
Oh, we're
That's
gonna
6K combined. We're taking over the world, Nick.
I do. I think that's a whole lot of cum we can let out. I feel it. I believe in us, sir. Thanks for being here again. Have a majestic night.
You too, brother.
All right. Red Shirt has no plug this week. Well,
but I will be here next Tuesday.
There you go.
You
That's
can
his
bank
plug.
on that.
All right. Roll Red Shirt. Thank you for your time and your valued words and your greatness.
Red Shirt, are you available Friday night or no?
Friday night's a bad night for me usually because that's normally my busiest day.
Okay, I didn't know. I just was asking for a friend of mine.
Oh, he's
Can you DM me?
you to come.
Yeah.
All right, DM me and let me know.
Sure. Are you on Discord or Gilded?
I'm on
He's
both.
on Gilded.
Discord. I'm on both.
Okay.
Fuck you, Gilded.
On Gilded.
Yeah, but Gilded's way better than Discord.
Gilded.
All right. Thank you, Red Shirt. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And now the man who made tonight's show happening. 70, sir. Thank you for filling in for Mark. I'm sure his holes feel very well filled, and you knew how to fill that void.
Stretched that to the limit. I stretched that void. Filled it to the limit. Thank you for doing this again, Nick. I missed you last week. This was good. It's good to be back. I'm a little bit quieter this week with my own channel stuff because I'm doing a lot of things. As what I'd really like to plug is obviously this November 11th is Remembrance Day, as we call it up here in Canada and in the UK, and Veterans Day in the US. So if I want to plug anything, it would be go out and honor those veterans. I'm out there tomorrow and the rest of the week selling poppies. We wear the poppy up here and working with the Canadian. I'm a member of the Canadian Legion veteran myself, so it means a lot to me to go out and do stuff in connection with that. So yeah, go out and do something for veterans, whatever it may be. Honor them for their sacrifices and all that good stuff. In terms of the channel, Dustin mentioned Rock and Roll Rowdies YouTube channel on Thursday at 1 p.m. The lads Dustin, the lads, and I will be talking, actually, probably not so much about their touring experiences. We're just going to talk about music in general and specifically about the Beatles and the Beatles stuff that's going on right now. Just to make a bit of a change from talking about some of the wild and wacky experiences. And then I'd also like to plug Saturday night, Bourbon and Boarding, 10 p.m. Mountain Time. Brahma Bull and I, that's our hockey show where we drink quality liquor and show clips about hockey and talk about hockey. So,
what? You're
a
not
lot of
drinking
fun.
Seagrams? How dare you?
I drink some blends and some cheap shit too, but you know. So we have a lot of fun. It's a small but dedicated crowd on late on a Saturday night. We have a lot of fun with that show. And then next Monday on my channel, I'll be joined by Wilco of the Rock and Roll Rowdies, a guy called Don Bew, and a guy called Bill Hoyt. And these three guys are all ex-tour managers for Dickie Betts and the Allman Brothers back in the 80s. So we're going to be talking principally about that era, but also some of the other bands that those guys have worked with. So lots more music chat there.
Ooh.
And I'm
like
kind of
it.
hoping to make a couple of videos because there's been some great trailers out for stuff I'm really interested in.
Ooh.
Like Godzilla -1 and Jack
-1.
Reacher Season 2 and the trailer for the new remake of Shogun, which looks really good. So I'm going to try and work on a video about those.
Oh, I like that. Well, 70s, it's been pleasuring. You have a magical evening. Guys, sub to his channel, Eric K. Thank you for throwing in links. I see he's putting that right out for Red Shirt, Dustin, probably 70s, and 70s Falls. Yes, thank you. Bruce, thank you. And 70s, sir, I can't wait till we live and let die next week. Well, I'm sure I'll see you sometime this week on either Meet or
Gonna be
TNT.
good. Oh, I'll see
All
you
right.
Thursday night probably. Not
right.
that I'm going to watch that crap movie, but
Do not. Please don't. Please don't. All right, chat. Thank you again for supporting Toxic Tuesday. Remember, always guys channels. Shout out Eric K. Thank you for plugging the links. We'll see you next week for Live and Let Die. For the rest of you, I'll see you Friday or Thursday night or on my next video that'll be out this week. Appreciate all of you. Go get some rest. The bar is closed, and we got to wrap it up.
I'd like to show you something.
I love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want, and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no, I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me. Better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost anything. All it takes is some time and some clarity to find your identity. It's mind over everything. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this,
You have to ask yourself one question. Do I feel lucky?
You're still here? It's over. Go home.
Have a great night, everybody.